You know, I had a situation where I prayed with a guy who was blind. And after I prayed over him, I had him cover up his good eye and look through his bad eye. And I said, how many fingers am I holding up? And he couldn't even see light out of that eye. I had to turn his head and point it towards where my finger was. And immediately when that happened, I could just feel the unbelief in that room. So I dismissed the crowd. I sent the people home. And I said, those of you who are in faith and believe that God has healed him and that we're just going to stand and break whatever the hindrances are, you can stay and pray. And there was a few people that stayed and prayed. And anyway, we prayed for like 20 or 30 minutes over this guy. And every once in a while, I'd have him stop, cover up his good eye, and say, how many fingers am I holding up? And he couldn't even see my finger. And after about 20, 30 minutes of this, I was praying and I said, God, I know that you've healed him. What is the hindrance? And I just had this thought come to me. He doesn't need a healing, he needs a miracle. And I had never thought of the difference between a healing and a miracle. And as I was pondering this, my associate, Don Crow, he said, God just spoke to me and said he doesn't need a healing, he needs a miracle. It was word for word what God spoke to me. So I stopped and I said, what's wrong with you anyway? And he said when he was a baby, he had an infection and the doctor surgically removed the lens and the retina from his eye. He didn't even have the parts of his eye that he needed to see. And I said, well, you don't need a healing, you need a miracle. So then I prayed again, not doubting that God had released the power, but I was being specific and I spoke with my words. And I put my hands over his eyes and I said, in the name of Jesus, I command a lens and retina to come into this eye. Then I had him cover up his good eye and look, and I said, how many fingers do I have up? And he went 1, 2, he could see. And see, it took us 30 minutes praying to kind of zero in on what the deal was. God gave us a word, we spoke, and boom, the power that God had released the first moment we prayed now came into manifestation. And I'm telling you, we can do things like this. We have authority and power that Daniel didn't have, and we can pray differently.